guy named Mudfossil University who, must be a mud flood guy. And he is watching a YouTube video on his camera, which is a weird way to do it. And he believes, I think, that these are the balls of a giant, like the testes. Goodness gracious, great balls of stone, and I mean that literally. I've never encountered something like this, but the mud flooders are out here. Let's see what the vibe is like.
All right, these are just too coincidental to be coincidences. I'm looking at Tyson's shots here of this interstitial.
Tyson's Mud Fossil Adventures. Oh, okay. Mud fossils. This is 2 in a row where mud fossil is one word. Okay, that leads me to my first goog. Mud fossil. Yeah, okay. So this is on our geology, and they're talking about it. This may be off topic for this sub, but there is a number of people on YouTube that believes that the shape of rocks and mountains that happen to resemble body parts, human and animal, even mythical creatures, then it must be it. The main culprit is the channel Mudfossil University, here we are, who has made ridiculous claims such as dragons in the mountains, organs, even human footprints from the Triassic period, and etc. Okay, well, great.
Layer and the membranes. And commenting on this. There's Tyson's Mudfossil Adventures. Nice guy, got a really excellent location out there, showing some really good stuff. And this pops up. Theories of Everything with Kurt somebody. Biology's most controversial theories.
What? He's talking about the pop-ups? You're talking about your algo being catered to you?
Well, I'm telling you right now, that's biology, and I would say that's kind of a controversial theory.
You're saying this is biology? Oh, he thinks that he does think it's nuts.
All right, so don't forget, this is Tyson's Mudfossil Adventures. Now,
okay,
he's got these.
It's a lot of balls all next to each other, aren't there? So what kind of parties were the giants into? You know. Are all of those balls? This guy had way bigger balls than this guy. I thought these were pretty big balls, but if all of it's balls, if it's balls all the way down, why did they lay down and die with their balls like that? Mud fossil sounds like a nickname for an old redneck that makes moonshine. Ooh, yeah.
This layer of stone balls, and you can see all around it. It's like got skin, fleshy looking stuff around it.
Is that what it looks like?
Very, very abrupt transition layer, which is a layer unto itself. All right, and then you have another layer above that, which is a layer unto itself, going to where and what it is, I'm not absolutely certain. I am absolutely certain of this. This is the interstitium layer with all the balls really, really tight together. So there's going to be some kind of flexation in this layer.
Yeah, you know balls when you see them, too. I trust this guy. This guy looks like a guy who could get some balls. That's how you're going to die? With your balls laying next to other balls like this? I hope that for you, if that's what you want, man. That's good for you. It sounds like you might have to flop them forward, and maybe the rest of their bodies are standing up over here. They've been compressed over time, obviously. Except for the balls, obviously. Why are the balls together? It was a situation. You know, just laying their balls out. Dude, get some air on the balls. Feels good, man.
And then you get down into here, and you're into the body proper. So what do you got out here? Let's say this was skin. I don't know what it is.
What?
No idea. Could be muscle.
Why are you saying this is skin? This is ground.
But then you got a layer of fluid-filled highway. That's the fluid-filled highway, I believe.
Fluid-filled highway?
Because that's part of the membranes. It's a membrane. This is a membrane layer here. And primarily it's a fluid-filled highway.
Oh, it's worse than I thought. I thought he was like, there's balls right here, but there's ground on top of it. No, I'm mistaken. So, the ground is made of like giant parts?
And then it has another little a mucous membrane, basically. It's a membrane, and it has a little gooey spot on the edge of the top, which is the fluid-filled highway.
The gooey edge near the top, which is the fluid-filled highway. Everything. This makes perfect sense to me. Trump voter? You think? I think.
It's been basically acknowledged in the last few years. But this, there's no question what this is. That is the layers of tissue that can move and do these kind of things, and they'll always come back to where they're clustered together in that flat plane, the surface. And I'll show you that right now.
Uh-huh. Show it.
You see this?
What? Do you think the Earth is a biological form?
This is what Tyson was looking at, was a layer of balls like this.
A layer of balls?
Everything he had above there has been eroded away. But then there was that layer of balls.
The balls layer? What? I'm really trying to pick up what he's putting down, but I can't figure out what. Does he think we have balls in our skin now? Is he confused about cells being depicted as round and thinking that that means that they're balls? Okay.
And then below that was
Chat has
the
no
flesh.
answers for me.
So this is a layer of balls, just like that.
Go. Is this a kink? It's you can, yeah, sure. I don't mind.
That's a layer of balls in the skin, and this is absolutely tiny. This is 1 micron.
Uh-huh.
All right, little tiny. But the balls are everywhere.
You're right. The balls are everywhere. That's true.
That's why after they erode and all the flesh and everything's eroded, you have like this. Now,
so the balls are what is left behind from us? Why? How do we get here? How does this guy...
I was gay or something.
This guy found out there was balls in human skin, micron-sized balls, which are really, of course, like little cellular membranes. But he thinks if you're a giant, and you would have to be humongous. So, and we're talking like Galactus-size giants, though. We're not talking like fucking 10 feet tall giant. We're not talking 20. It's needed AC/DC in the background. Like, for their balls here, for their micron balls to be this big, I mean, I can't do that much quick head math, but I think we're talking 10 to the multiple powers here, in order of magnitude. Like, we're talking like fucking, I don't know, fucking like a million times larger. I don't like. This doesn't extrapolate well. Why don't you do just fast math?
what Tyson had.
A Nephilim would be too small for it to make balls this big, if that's his hypothesis, somewhere they come from. What if the Earth is not one big ball? Oh, fuck.
Was he had these to here, but then he had everything above it. And his were much bigger than this. Tyson's got big balls. All right, here's a couple other things to scope out here. This is why Tyson's got such big balls, because he's got big membranes too. You see that? That's a membrane. That's what's called a bilipid phospholipid membrane.
This what?
2 layers. Bi means 2. 6 feet or more between these 2 layers. You see the little outlines here? You see all these little outlines around all the little balls?
Yeah, carved by water over time, looks like. Or wind, maybe? But it looks like water. Probably both.
This had goo that was around here.
It had goo?
Well, don't forget that. It's
Forget that. It had goo. Forget it, though. Princess Fiona. Hey, welcome. We're looking at goo? We're not. This isn't goo. He said there was goo, but there isn't now. But don't worry about it.
It's a goo that layers everything.
Yep.
And it can flip around and flop and do this, but the goo keeps what's called a tight junction. It keeps the junctions together, and it fills all these cracks right in together, and it really just holds it tight, so you can't get through. That's what all these little outlines are for. The only place you can get through is these. These are called protein channels. Now, let me show you what biologically that looks like right here. You see these? This is what we're just looking at. This is what they are right here. These are the channels. You see that little thing right there? That's one of these jobbers.
Jobbers. So, when stuff looks slightly like other stuff, that doesn't mean it's the stuff it looks slightly like. You know? Like, this guy would get tricked by a painting of a highway on a wall like Wile E. Coyote, and he'd be like, "That's a fucking highway," and you're like, "Don't run as fast as you can into the highway wall because it's just a painting." And he's like, "No, it looks exactly like a tunnel to a highway. I'm running as fast as I can into it," and it's like, but it's not what it is. It can look like it a little bit, but this isn't what you're seeing.
And it is what it is. It's a membrane from some gigantic creature, and that's why Tyson has such big balls.
It's just a gigantic creature. The creature you're speaking of isn't a creature at all, but a planet, and this is just one of the many geological phenomena that happen. I bet if I could find out what this picture was from, there'd be a geologist that are like, "Yep, this is what it is." It'd be like totally normal, and you'd see many different places that have it.
You got to have stuff to go with the other stuff, and he's got the stuff
cool,
to go with the other stuff. Now,
I like looking at cool stuff.
This is down in Oregon. It's on the coast of the United States. This is up in Alaska. Same balls.
Same balls. Well, those don't look like balls at all. Those look like plants.
Only here they just
get
unfrozen. They still have.
Are they mossy? Are they mossy rocks?
A lot of good biology in them, and they're growing moss everywhere.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You see how many balls are there? Everywhere.
Lots of balls. Those are stones
everywhere.
Those are stony.
Everywhere.
Those are stones with moss on them, not balls. You crack every one of those open, you won't find any fucking lipids or whatever you're looking for.
And every one of them has that moss on it, which intrigues me like crazy because somehow.
So go there. Go look at them and crack open the rocks. Do all the tests you want. You're not going to find any evidence that they're like skin balls.
The blood must have the moss built into it.
The blood must have the moss built into it. What? Must? What an interesting fucking
meat of these tendon balls. Because every single one of them has it. That's just not natural.
This reminds me of my D&D campaign.
Now here's the other thing. Your site
I should be smoking weed, I guess, obviously. Sorry, I wasn't on your level, dude. All right.
Well, I don't know what my site being updated means, but anyway.
Yeah, dude, this guy is...
The ones that I showed you in that green mossy ones, they just got thawed out. So it's like they took them out of your freezer and you threw them, they would start to do whatever they do. And in this case, they grow real green things on them because they have a lot of...
All the Fate Weavers in front of a red string board like, the world is made of dead titans, I swear. Look, the world is made of dead titans.
Bloody...
Well, not 100%, but a lot of it.
Still wrapped around those balls. You see, these ones here were all dried out and turned into just... After they ate all the edible stuff, there was just a little stone core left. And that's what will happen to these, too. When they're done eating everything that's good, they'll have a little stone ball in the middle.
Everything that's good.
And that will be the end of that. And they're all over the world. And here's another one, Tyson. Like I said, he's got big balls. Here's one right here. Look at this one. You see the strap coming off it? I have these in my belt. I show this all the time. The balls are everywhere in the belt, and here's another one. They got straps coming off them, so that like, this is fleshy stuff. This is what they call kaolin or bentonite clay, and it's real floppy, and they make fine china out of this kind of clay. It's so fine. It's facial clays basically, and these balls are in there, and you can stretch and do this and that, and they're supposed to bring you back to where you were.
What? Why do you like the stretchy balls so much? Why does he he's so into it. He really is. But he needs to adopt a different way to talk about it. He's just manic about it. He's not teaching me anything.
It's pretty good size. This is a shadow of his legs.
He's just saying, look.
All right. This is what I want you to look at carefully.
All right.
You see these little things with the little dark spots here and there all over them?
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Balls. Midnight Null Night, 41 months. This is a goatsy, ain't it? No, it's not a goatsy. No, this guy's just really into balls.
Seem to be running down these little fibrils. You see them? Dark spot, right at the end, right at the tips. Why is that? Why would you think that's going on? Now, first of all...
I don't know what I'm looking at, man.
Look at this carefully. Now, up in the microscope, I have something here. I have the lights turned down way low. So what are we seeing? Remember where these little white dots are? And this sort of coloration here. Now, I'm going to turn the lights up a little bit so we can see what we're looking at, which is the leather. This is my world famous belt. All right, now.
This is your belt?
What we're looking at there.
Oh, he wasn't fucking around. He actually just has a belt that he looks at on a microscope. And he's like, look, guys, this is the belt I like to look at on my microscope. Are you learning something? Yeah, I'm finding out, yeah.
It's not a whole lot different
From
what we were looking at before. Now, I'm going to see if I can find some other patterns that are, hold on. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about leather, and tanned leather specifically, which this is. Now, I am on one of my old leather jackets, and this is primarily the look of the leather. I'm going to turn up the light a little bit.
Okay.
All right, focus it in a little better.
This is some science, man.
And that's what the look of it is.
That's the look of it.
Now, here's my finger in there, so you can see how small the fabric is.
Yeah.
Now, I have...
Thanks.
The crazy thing is, on this
is the craziest uncle I've ever seen.
Particular...
Without being like... It doesn't come across as particularly malicious. This is the... So far, it's... Is he a safe crazy, or does he have crazier shit going on in his life?
Jacket. It's using all kinds of different skin. Well, different areas of the skin. You see that one there? Now, on the edge of my pocket, I'm going to move over to the edge of my pocket, which is right here. Look at the size of those.
What?
You see where my hand...
Look at the size of those. Yeah. This guy fucking loves looking at stuff under a microscope. There are worse hobbies.
It goes in the pocket right there.
Yeah. Oh, man. That looked like skulls. Might be skulls in there.
Now, you look at the size of those bumps.
Yep. It's a...
Compared to the size of these bumps.
Okay.
There's a huge difference. I don't know if you can see it, but I sure can. You see those little ones? Now I'm going to go over to where the pocket is.
What do you want me to tell you?
You see the size of those?
There they are.
Now, up in the collar, look at this. Now, once again, look at the size of these babies. They're tiny.
Look at the size of
There's
these
my
babies.
finger, same thing. Yeah. Look at how small those things are.
Yeah.
And this is up in the collar, and all I can think of is they must have realized you got to stretch here, more stretching around the collar, I don't know. The pocket, I don't know. But they did something. Well, there's some reason they did this, I would think.
I think they just made a coat, and as it flexes and stuff, it makes it look different.
All right, look at this. Doesn't this look like rocks and stuff? I mean, that looks like the landscape. True. That is the collar of my old leather jacket. Now watch this. There's going to be a seam like this. I'm going to cross the seam, and right at the point where it touches your neck, they change over to this very, very fine leather. If I can get it there.
It's a well-made jacket.
Oh, I got to lift it up. Okay, here we go. Watch, over the top, and then we get into this. Look, see it's sewed right there? You see it's sewed?
Yeah.
Now we're into this. Why they changed, there must be a reason. You see that? How? Well,
it looks like they have different kinds of leathers, and they mix and match them based on the tailoring needs. I don't know, buddy. I guess I'm glad that he's curious and fascinated about a leather jacket and his belt or whatever.
And then right at this seam,
yeah, it's just two different pieces
of
leather.
They changed into this kind of leather, which is a really tough little strappy stuff. And that is right at the seam where your neck hits the collar. They must have known what they were doing, I guess.
Yeah, that's the end of the video. Okay. Did we learn anything? I learned that there's Mudfossil guys. He was like, isn't that? They got leather, and it looks like it does.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
I'm like, yeah. And I was hoping he would go somewhere else, but he's like, just look at it. Would you check that leather out? We did. Omega Star, thanks for the 5 months. Am I in time for proof that God exists? I don't know if that's what he was doing. I don't think that's what he was doing at all. I think he was proving that there were balls. So that was 14 hours ago. This guy's prolific. What's his most popular video? Colossus Certified Biological in Origin by MFU? What? He's examining the... So MFU is him. Is himself.
Okay, my good friends, it's Roger, Mudfossil University, again with a special request from a good friend, Aaron Hartman.
Wow. I think I'm going to find out about the mud fossils in the future. I got to know more about the mud fossils. I got to open my mind. We're going to believe. We're going to believe again in the mud fossils. Dude, has Greg found these guys? He's gotten rocks tested before. Says they came back as having human DNA, not grasping that it's because he handled the rocks. Wow.
Smoking blunts was a daily routine since 13.
Thanks, go back in.
I was a fat kid smoking weed too.
What a specimen. What an absolute specimen.